And welcome back, folks. Don't forget, you can also check out, well, apart from emailing me, you can check out our Facebook page, send us some feedback, suggestions, comments, etc. Well, we're kicking off the new year with great things and lots of information. As promised, we want to empower you and educate you and keep you up to the times as to what's happening in our beautiful island. And before the break, I mentioned if you own a vehicle, this next segment definitely is for you. Man, how many of you can relate to this scenario? It's close to the end of the month. You're running around trying to organize your money. You go into that treasury point and the line is long and you know you got to stick in that line because if you're on the road without your license, your disc on your vehicle, you're going to be in lots of problems. I have in studio with me this morning, very honored to have these gentlemen here. I have Inspector Brian Worm, and he is attached to the License and Inspection Department. And he's joined by Corporal Philip James. He is attached to the Inland Revenue Department. Good morning, gentlemen, and Happy New Year.
Good morning again, Lex. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank both of you for being here this morning. All right, where do we start? Let's first off, Inspector Worm, something that I really want to zone in on specifically is, you know, the tips and the do's and don'ts in terms of inspections of vehicles. You know, I think a lot of people get away with a lot of different things. Well, they think they can get away. That's until they come by you on Dusty Highway, boy, and they realize they can't get away. But for our viewers out there, just tell us what needs to be in place with persons' vehicles prior to inspection.
Well, I should say that people, owners and drivers of motor vehicle should have the vehicle prepared in a thoroughly clean condition in order to bring it to the License and Inspection Center. All right? Mm-hmm. And I should say that you have 6 weeks in order to do that for the first period, right? Which began last week Tuesday.
Right.
That is the 3rd of January. Mm-hmm. This period run up to the 15th of February.
Right.
All right? And before I get into the do's and the don'ts, I would like to say to the public out there, you should know that you have 6 venues to have your vehicle inspected. We have Dusty Highway in Grand Anse, Monday to Friday of each week. We have Guave every Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We have Victoria every Wednesday, and Sotez Thursday and Friday.
Right.
And on the eastern side, we have Grenville at Paul's Air Strip every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And at St. David's, you have it Thursday and Friday.
Right.
On this style of Carriacou, we also have inspection done, and that will be done the last Thursday and Friday of each month, and at the end of every inspection period. Mm-hmm. All right, people bringing their vehicle for inspection. I would advise that you should have a pre-inspection done before you get to the inspection venues. Mm-hmm. Because I think you rather inconvenience yourself by coming there and have to turn away for minor things, you know. And the do's and the don'ts, I think a lot of people know what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. So we urge you to try and do a pre-inspection and avoid the inconvenience there, okay? Mm-hmm. So when you bring your vehicle at the inspection center, the inspecting officer will get out there and he'll ask you to do certain things, for example, turning on your lights and your wiper, your horn, right? Indicator lights, your handbrake. He would ask you to pull it and to do certain things. He would ask you to put it in reverse gears and stuff like that. So you're supposed to have all these things working properly, right? You would look at your tires mainly, and I want to stress on tires, especially the people that tell themselves that they would have the regrooved tire. Mm-hmm. The used tire, if it's in good condition, we don't have a problem. But the regrooved tire, which in years they're getting this tire being cut further down.
So this is actually an old tire that's been
kind of smooth, and then you're trying to put on more groove onto that tire. Mm-hmm. Is a no-no, especially for the people that are using omnibuses. Mm-hmm. You have people lives involved, and you can't take chances with that. You understand? It's easier to puncture a regrooved tire because you're getting the tire much more thinner, right?
Right.
So it's easier to puncture. So then we asking the people there to try and avoid things have to turn you back. The loud mufflers, the exhaust, as we would say. People who tend to want to hear the vehicle, you understand, for themselves when they're driving along, right? This is a no-no.
Yeah.
And the additional lights, if your vehicle wasn't manufactured with the white lights, as we would call it,
Right.
you don't adopt that for yourself, because it is a no-no also. We would turn you back. We'd ask you to put on the original.
Right.
Right?
Good. I tell you, those lights drive me crazy, Inspector Wilm, as a road user, because, correct me if I'm wrong, do they actually purchase some of these lights that can't actually dim? You ever heard of that?
Dim.
You install these lights, but they're really bright ones.
Yeah.
They don't come with your vehicle, and that's okay. He'll call you back. But they're really bright. They don't dim them, or they don't have a switch to dim them. I know your vehicle comes with a dim switch.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think it's the spotlight, you know.
Probably.
Spotlight don't dim. You can't dim a spotlight.
Probably.
Right? And this is also
That's
prohibited.
crazy. Yeah, it's
understand?
crazy. It's really unsafe.
It's also prohibited. The spotlights.
The spotlights.
Yeah.
What about tints? You smile.
Now, tint of vehicles. It is said that you should not have your vehicle tinted, treated, or darkened as to obscure the view of the interior from the exterior. So if you yourself, well, we know eyesight varies. Everybody have a different, you know. All right, so if you look at your vehicle, you tint that vehicle, and you stay from the outside and you could actually see any images inside, you know clearly, well, you may have a chance, right?
Right.
Right? Hopefully you have a chance. But when you go and you see your limo tint or your G5, you can't see nobody, this is a no-no.
You're setting yourself up for problems.
Real problem.
Yes, yes.
So yes.
Okay. I have some information in front of me that Corporal James just passed on to me, and I see you have, for instance, period payments, etc., registration numbers, that sort of thing. So persons know exactly, you know, where they fall in line in terms of their payment periods. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Well, as indicated by the inspector, every licensing period is of a 45-day duration, which is basically 6 weeks. As guided, you'll have vehicles with the single registration. These numbers would basically run from 1 to 2,500, and then the plural registration would be from 1 to 250. This is basically considered to be the first period, which will go from the 1st of January to the 15th of February. Right. The second period would be as of the 16th of February to the end of March, which takes care of our vehicle and a single registration from 2,501 to 5,000, or in the plural registration from 251 to 500. That's the second period. Right. Then we'll go again on to the third period, which takes care of vehicles from 5,001 to 7,500, or in the plural registration from 501 to 750. And the last period would be from in the single registration from 7,501 to 9,999, or in the plural registration from 751 to 999. Right. That'll be the last period. So basically, the licensing period in Grenada would take care of the first half of the year, as of January to June.
Right. And people need to remember that in terms of your actual driver's license, these should be renewed on your birthday. Well, can you do it before? Yes. I've been turned away before, you know.
No, the facilitation is there that your license can be renewed on or before your birth date.
Okay.
You know,
okay,
so
good.
That's okay. Excellent.
Now I have a little, and this is directed to you, Corporal James. You're in a hot seat right now with me, man. Let me tell you. You know, a lot of people. I know sometimes if I go to pay my license fees, etc. Well, you know, I spoke about that long line, right? And I think it's just it happens because everybody's waiting until that last moment. You know, bless this beautiful island. We love last minute things on this island. But is there? I know a lot of times we've been accommodated where they would collect the paperwork prior, especially if you're on a long line, they'll take the paperwork. So at least it flows a little smoothly. But is there any way that this process could actually be sped up a little bit?
Well, efforts have been done by the Inland Revenue Department In particular, now that regarding your collection of your cash, in that the facilitation of accepting these monies are now done at the VAT unit. So you have an option now that you can pay also at the VAT unit as well as the Inland Revenue Department.
See, it's a good thing you're here today, because I don't think I would have ever known this. Well, gentlemen, we're almost out of time. Is there anything else that people need to remember, yes. Vehicle owners, Inspector Room?
Yes, I would like to urge the motoring public out there to utilize the period. 6 weeks is sufficient. Right now, we have nobody at Dusty Highway under the shed doing any inspection. For example, vehicles inspecting. They're not coming.
Right.
And at least when the last week or last 2 days in the end of the period, they're lining up all to this building here, right? And then they're asking why we don't have people to facilitate them, but we have people sitting up there right now.
So you're saying that 6
them.
weeks?
6 weeks to do that, right? Another thing I want to emphasize is that the color of number plates. We say reflective yellow, and we're seeing some cream, and we're seeing some reflective background. The background of the plate should be yellow with black letters, or black figures. And we're seeing people come with all different types of number plate, right? And you know you will be turned back for that. And the final thing I want to urge people to do is to stick the license disc in the proper place. It's in the lower corner of the left side of the windscreen, right? And we don't want to see people using stickers 1, 2, 3. Don't add one sticker per year.
Well, you see, I didn't even realize that you had stipulations to that, you know. But don't worry, mine's in the right place, and I only have one. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, Corporal James. Thank you. All right, have a blessed day. Folks, well, we certainly hope you've been taking notes. We're going to repeat this again. Don't worry. If you've missed it, pay particular attention, especially to doing your pre-inspection prior to getting to the inspection departments. We'll be right back.